יחווה שפתי תפתח חופי יגיד תהילתך. שיר המעלות בשוב יחווה את שיבת ציון, היינו כחולמים. אז ימלא שחוק פינוך ולשוננו ברינה. אז יאמרו בגויים, הגדיל יחווה לעשות עם אלה, הגדיל יחווה לעשות עמנו, היינו שמחים. שובה יחווה את שבותנו, כאפיקים בנגב, הזורעים בדימה וברינה יקסורו. הלוך ילך ובקו נושא משק הזרע, בו יבוא ורינה יישא על המוצר. סלע. חרדת אדם ייתן מוקש ובוטח ביחווה יסוגיו. חרדת אדם ייתן מוקש ובוטח ביחווה יסוגיו. חרדת אדם ייתן מוקש ובוטח ביחווה יסוגיו. מגדל עוז שם יחווה בו ירוץ צדיק ונסגר. מגדל עוז שם יחווה בו ירוץ צדיק ונסגר. מגדל עוז שם יחווה בו ירוץ צדיק ונסגר. קומי אורי ובא אורה וכבוד עלייך זרח יחווה. והנני מכסה ארץ בערפל לאומי. יא יחווה, אתה האור, אתה הנשימה, אתה החיים ואין עוד מלבדך. הדעת זה שיצר אותנו וברא אותנו ביום השישי והקדיש לעצמך את השבת. יא יחווה, אתה האל שמצהיר שאנחנו במלחמת רוחנית, ואם כן אנחנו במלחמת רוחנית, אז עלינו ליישם את המילה שאתה הבטחת לנו, שאתה הקדשת לנו, לפי המצוות שלך, שיהיה לנו ברית מילה, שאנחנו נשמור על הברית בכל מילה טהור שיש בתוך נשמתנו, בכללו של המוח, הלב, הנשמה, הכליות, הכבד והריאות. יא יחווה, אתה זה שיצרת ואתה זה שקיימת. יא יחווה, אתה זה שדיברת, אתה זה שפעלת. יא יחווה, אתה הכוח. יא יחווה, אינני יכול להשתיק את הקול שלך. יא יחווה, איך שאני יצאתי מהבית להרגע הנוכחית, הבחנתי שהיה שקט רב, שקט במלואו. אך איך שפתחתי את התורה, כפי שאתה הצרת בתהילים פרק א', אתה הצרת שחפצו בתורתו יהגה יומם ולילה. אז כפי שאני מנסה להגות ביום בתוך התורה ולקחת את החפצים שלי, כי אתה שמת לי את החפצים שלי בתוך התורה שלך, אז נהיה המלחמת הרוחנית, המלחמת הפסיכולוגית, המלחמת שנלחם בשביל הנשמה שלנו. יא יחווה, אתה הצרת שיש רק שתי רוחות שנלחמים למען הנשמה, למען הנפש. יא יחווה, יש לנו את יצר הרע, יש לנו את הניגוד לשדי, שזה שד. יא יחווה, אנחנו יודעים שאם זה שדי, שדי זה מילה נרדפת לחזק, אז הניגוד לחזק זה חלש. אז ההבחנה זה מצהיר שחלש ושד זה אותו דבר, וחזק ושדי זה אתה. כי יא יחווה, אתה יחווה שדי, אתה האל החי הנצחי, אתה אלוהים, זה שהנשים בתוך הנשמה שלנו את נשימת החיים. יא יחווה, הציפורים שלך מצייצים, הם מדברים אל הנשמה שלי, הם מדברים אל בנך. יא יחווה, אתה פתחת את עינינו, אתה הקדשת את חייך, אתה הקדשת את רוחך, את הרוח המופשט, את הרוח האמניפוטנט לעולמי עולמים. יא יחווה, אתה הצהרת שאם אתה הבטחת אז אתה תקיים. יא יחווה, הבטחה זה דבר רוחני, זה אינו דבר ממשי. יא יחווה, אנחנו מבינים שאין דבר עלי אדמה שיכול לעמוד בפנינו. ויא יחווה, איך שאנחנו מבטאים בקולנו את הקול שאתה הקדשת לנו כדי להילחם באמונה חזקה, אז אנחנו כאן למענך יא יחווה. אתה עצרת שחרדת אדם ייתן מוקש ובוטח ביחווה יסוגיו. חרדת אדם ייתן מוקש ובוטח ביחווה יסוגיו. אנחנו מצהירים בזאת שאת המלחמת הרוחנית הזאת אנחנו ניקח במו ידינו. רק איתך יא יחווה אנחנו נוכל להיות מוגנים במגנך יא יחווה. אז יא יחווה, הנני עומד בעוז ובחדווה, במדחיק ומרחיק את שנאיך מפניך. יא יחווה, קומה יחווה, ויפוסו אויביך, וינוסו משנאיך מפניך. קומאה יחווה, ויפוסו אויביך, וינוסו משנאיך מפניך. יא יחווה, תודה יא בשביל השם קול. תודה יא בשביל השם קולי. תודה יא בשביל השם קולי אל. אתה נתנת לי את ההבחנה להבחין שבראת אותנו ביום השישי. היום השישי באותיות א' ב' זה ו'. זו האות המחבר. אנחנו נחבר את הו' למילה קל, שקל באנגלית זה ease, as in easy. יא יחווה, the opposite of ease, the easy זה dis-ease. אז אנחנו נלחמים נגד ה-dis. We are in a spiritual warfare against the D-I-S, the dis. Ya Yahweh, we stand in your name strong and of good courage, Ya Yahweh, as we declare, as we decree and declare from the Hebraic thought only that you have blessed us with. That once we restore the vav into the word kal, which is easy, we receive kol, which is voice. Ya Yahweh, we receive your voice. We know that your voice, it shatters. We know that your voice, it extends energy, frequencies, vibrations of wrath, of compassion, of love, of harmony. And we shall not be shakeable. We shall not be removed. We shall not be timid. We shall not be deceived. We shall not be misled. We shall not, because Ya Yahweh, you let us know that within this we shall be confident. Ya Yahweh, you have given us the gift of discernment to see and to say that confidence means is derived from Latin, which means together, and fidir means trust. So you have told us to trust in your name and to love our neighbors. And so Yahweh, we trust in you. אנחנו מאמינים בך, יהוה, בלב חזק, באומץ, בשלווה ובחוכמה ובדעת ובינה. יהוה, הגוף שלנו עם 10 אצבעות ו10 אצבעות של הבסיס, זה 20 שזה החף. יהוה, יצרת אותנו ביום השישי שזה הוו. יהוה, נתנת לנו ברית מילה ביום השמיני שזה החטא. יהוה, זה המילה של כוח. יהוה, עם הכוח ועם הרוח. יהוה, הצהרת בירמיהו פרק א' פסוק ד' ופסוק ה' שאתה הכרת אותנו לפני שיצרת אותנו בתוך הקיבה, יהוה, שאנחנו ירושה שלך ואנחנו פרי הקיבה, יהוה. אין לאדם פוליטי, אין לאדם כלשהו את הרשות להקריע ולהריע על מה שאתה יצרת. יהוה, אתה האל החי הנצחי. יהוה, אתה בראת אותנו. אתה הנשמת לתוך נחירותנו את נשימת החיים. לפי בראשית פרק ב' pasuk zayin, according to Genesis chapter 2 verse 7. Yahweh, breathe it into our nostrils, the breath of life. And with this breath of life, we will decree and we will declare. We will decree and we will declare. We will decree and we will declare. Yahuwah, spiritual kingdom on earth. Yes, we will, and yes, we will. We shall not be afraid. Yahuwah is our strength and our salvation. Of whom shall we fear? Yahuwah is the light of our bodies and our temples. Of whom shall we be afraid? Even when our enemies and our foes shall come running to eat up our flesh and bones, they too stumbled and fell. Yahuwah uri v'yash'i me'era. Yahuwah ma'oz chayai me'efached. Mere'im le'echol et basarei tzarai ve'oyevai li hema kashlu v'naflu. Ya Yahuwah, ata האלוהים שבשמיים, האלוהים שבאדמה, האלוהים שבעצים, האלוהים שבתוך הציפורים, והאלוהים שבתוך הלב שלי, ובתוך המוח שלי, ובתוך השכל שלי. יא יחווה, אתה אמרת שמע ישראל, יחווה אבינו, יחווה אחד. יא יחווה, אחד זה הראשי תיבות של אהבה, חוכמה ובינה ודעת. כי יא יחווה, הדלת זה הדעת, החטא זה החוכמה, והאלף זו האהבה. אני מעריך אותך בלב טהור ובנפש חזק ובשכל נבון. יא יחווה, האל החי הנצחי. רוח יחווה חי, רוח יחווה חי, רוח יחווה חי. סלע. שאו שערים ראשיכם ונשאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא 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 מלך הכבוד. שאו שערים ראשיכם ונשאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא 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 מלך הכבוד. מי הוא זה מלך הכבוד? מי הוא זה מלך הכבוד? מי הוא זה מלך הכבוד? יהוה עזוז וגיבור, יהוה גיבור מלחמה. סלע. Torah Yah for the breath of life. Torah Yah for the breath of life. My fellow brethren, my brothers, my sisters, my loved ones, my companions, my associates, my brothers, everyone, I love you all. I just want to acknowledge that. Y'all, today, I was compelled by Yahuwah to come on out and to implement the feelings and the intellect which he has given me. Yesterday, I was thinking on the behalf of manhig, which is the Hebrew word for a leader. Now, my brain was trying to figure out how come we all not leaders as husbands, as fathers. How come we set aside the men of old? How come we have fell into the trap of the weapon of disenfranchisement, which is the religious dogma? How come we allow to be vulnerable in the midst of men when we are men? How come we allow ourselves to be vulnerable in the midst of women when they are women? Bottom line is, we are not exercising our attributes to its fullest extent and with the virtue of sincerity. And I'm saying it so because you have in Genesis chapter 2, okay, Yahweh explains how man was not completed. Man was not completed until he had brought forth woman. And woman is the vessel and completion of man. Zachar v'nekeva, ish v'isha. And so it was heavy on my heart and said, if Yahweh made the family the highest institution, how come the marriages is not being cultivated? How come more people are being divorced and separated? And I just had to convey it from the Hebrew thought. And what I come to terms with is, when I looked at the word manhig, I began to decode it. And when I seen manhig, I wrote noheg, nahag, hagun, yinhag, and nahug. All of those were abstracted from the word manhig once I thought about it. And so I'm going to give you verification, and I'm going to give you references to actually read it yourself. So in the name of humility, in the name of sincerity, in the name of compassion, mercy, and love, I am extending my sincerest concerns out there to the world, to my brothers and sisters. And it's important for me to let you all know that the only way I am capable of coming before you all today to share this wisdom, this prophetic revival wisdom, is simply by saying and by experiencing. Fortitude is its name. Fortitude, which is the courage, the ability to cast out the demonic thoughts, the demonic emotions, which are fear, which are envy, which are covetous, which is lust, which is all of those things that's trying to be a stumbling block before you. A stumbling block which the kings of the earth had conspired to go and put them stumbling blocks before you. Okay? So, let me explain to you with the gift of discernment what is manhig. Manhig is a leader. Manhig is someone who drives. Someone who drives the minds and the emotions and lead the minds and the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings of its environment. It can be done in a sincere way, and it can be done in a covetous way, as in the desire is taking the steering wheel and is deciding to only seek monetary gain, or is only to seek power, which can become abused, and the ego can begin to enter and begin to cultivate their minds and to mislead them from Yahweh, which is the omnipotent creator of heaven and earth. I do not want to acknowledge the word God, because God, looking backwards, is dog, D-O-G. It's inevitable, and it's extremely important that we wake up as the nation of Israel, that we wake up as the people. Okay, I'm gonna stay on track. So you have the Hebrew word manhig, which is a leader. You have the Hebrew word which is noheg, which is the verb of driving. You have the Hebrew word nahag, which is the past tense of drove or driven. Okay? Or a title of a driver. You have the Hebrew word hagun. Hagun is just, a just man. Okay? Hagun is simply You're a man of integrity. You're a man of truth. You're a man which is not seeking to mislead no other man before you. It's a law. It's a commandment. Love thy neighbor as thy love thyself. If you love your brother as you love yourself, then you will never put a stumbling block before him. Although you may have stumbling blocks before you, but that's not your intentions to put a stumbling block before them, because you necessarily don't like the fact that it's a stumbling block before you. And you will not know it's a stumbling block before you because you must have been subconsciously asleep, never entered into your consciousness state of mind. You have your subconscious, your consciousness, and your super consciousness. And that's Yahweh, which is the omnipotent creator of heaven and earth. He is invisible to carnal man. He is invisible to the carnal man. But the wise man, the one who has been consecrated, the one who has been anointed, he can discern when Yahweh's voice is speaking. He can discern, he can feel, he can sense. That's why Yahweh used the term common sense. Okay? Because sense is the short term for sensory. So our skins have sense. Our skin is the largest organ on our body. It becomes sensitive once you put some wrong chemical on your body. It begins to break out. That's a sense. But if you don't become aware, then you would think it's okay. Okay? So, I'm going to reiterate that. Hagun is just, a man of integrity, okay? Meaning what you speak is what you do. What you do is what you have spoken. Because Yahweh let us know that he has spoken it and he has performed it. Davar is a word, and davar is also a thing. Davar is a word according to the process of going to speak, which is ledaber, or yedaber, or medaber. Okay? Because you provide energy and light into what you sincerely feel. This is called a psyop. Psyop is a short term for psychological operation. What I mean, this is called a psyop. The minute Yahweh's word is being revealed, they begin to gain stalk the force which is battling for your soul, which is the adversary, Satan, or Shedim. They begin to utilize the bodies and the temples of the subconscious people, the people who's not conscious. Okay? Begin to use them to provoke the one which is speaking the light, the one which is speaking the truth. Alright? That's why it was just all that noise. And I'm going to convey from the Hebrew thought, what is noise? Noise is Ra'ash. Resh, Ayin, Shin. Once you switch the Ayin and the Shin, you get Rasha. So Ra'ash and Rasha is intertwined. The same as Pesha and Shefa. Most people seek abundance in the wrong way, with the wrong intentions. Okay? And they commit the Pesha, which is the crime to receive that abundance. Okay. It was important for me to interject and to impose these links, which it can connect to where I am going with this. Okay? Because manhi is a hierarchy. It's a hierarchy. Okay? Position. And the hierarchy, they become in that position simply based off what? By using the word. They seek the questions and they have altered the answers in order to keep the masses asleep. Okay? Of the population sleep. Alright. I feel these negative energies trying to impose and to provoke my nervous system. Yet, it's important for me to let you know that in my possession of brain cells with fortitude, I have the power of will. And I will stay humble because I must restore I must be humble to restore the balance in my soul. It's imperative that we stay humble. Humility before honor, humility within honor. Okay? Do not allow your attention to be stowed by any external force there is. Never allow your attention to be taken away from you. Within that attention, you have a vital commodity, which is focus. And focus in Hebrew is zachar. And zachar is the root to zikaron, which is remembrance. And Yahweh do not allow us to forget. This whole Bible, the whole word of Yah is based off remember. Remember the 10 Commandments. Remember the Sabbath. Remember. Okay? I'm going to stay focused. The next word we have is yinhag. Okay, yinhag. Once you just continued from hagun, which is just, which is justice, which is right, which is righteousness, you will proceed on to yinhag. Okay, yinhag is to drive. Is someone who has potential. He will become a leader. He will become to be a driver. He will become to tap into the force of implementation, to the force of implementing. Everything that he thinks, he will implement. Everything that he feels, he will implement. Now, to every word, you have a positive connotation and you have a negative connotation. Simply saying that anyone can spit out words. Anyone can say anything once they understand the value of the words. The issue becomes a question of if you can hear the sound, if you can feel the mind, if you can see behind that word, if you can see and feel behind that vibration, if this person is really sincere, is he really genuine, is he really compassionate, do he really seek to save you and to redeem you, or is he trying to manipulate you or to mislead you? Is he trying to capitalize off of you, or is he trying to free you? Is he trying to give you the authority over your 100 trillion cells in your body, or is he trying to control your cellular memories by planting seeds of manipulation for you to do what he wants you to do? You must question yourself that. Okay? So, I'm being real cautious and I'm being circumspect right now, my brothers and sisters, because it was silent for a long time. This is a silent street, yet I just heard so many distractions, so many cars moving back and forth. As in, when you hear sound, the acoustics of the sound is trying to abstract your focus and mislead you from producing something most powerful for your brothers and sisters so they can be redeemed. It's a distinct difference between the weapon of disenfranchisement, religion. Okay, it's a distinct difference between religion and redemption. For redemption, you must not be suppressed by religion. Religion is simply a control tactic. That's why they have stole the iron from the word da'at, consciousness, and made it a religion in order to market, okay? Market in order to circulate and build an economic system, okay? In order to keep you asleep, okay? And to never allow you to tap into the production's ability you have. Because all you have in you is love. And when you only have love inside you, that's one of the strongest forces in this universe. You shall not be afraid or timid to go and recommend someone love. You can produce your love within a product. You can produce your love within words. You can produce your love within a letter. You can produce your love within anything. But the fear becomes in you because you are conformed. You are conditioned to believe that love is for weak links. That love is for someone who does not have, quotations, heart. But the heart they talking about, the love they talking about is lust. It's the desire of lust, which is being exploited every day, and once conceived, it becomes a sin. So for a person to never want to give up their player card is simply saying that they do not value Deuteronomy 23 verses 21 to 23, which I will read on this wise. Deuteronomy 23 verse 21 to 23. When thou shalt vow a vow unto Yahweh, thou shalt not slack to pay it. For Yahweh will surely require it of thee, and it would be sin in thee. Okay? That's 21. That's simply saying, once you make a vow to your wife, you are loyal to your wife. You are entitled to be vulnerable next to your wife. You sleep in the bed with her. No other man. Not the brotherhood. You don't sleep with the brotherhood unless you do today. And if you do, be vulnerable. Not necessarily physical, but to be vulnerable emotionally. To be vulnerable mentally. That's also a homosexuality tendency, which declared in this book, Holy Bible, which is verifiable, which is the truth, which is in Torah Nevi'im Ktuvim. It say 7 things that Yahweh don't like, and that's one of them. Okay? Being circumspect of my phone about to shut down, I'm gonna end this fast, and we will continue this later. Prayfully. Okay? The last one is Nahug. Okay? Nahug is to conduct. Nahug is what tradition is based off of. Okay? And so we want to be Anachnu rotim linhog, okay, in a right way. Zeloha manhig, Zeloha hanhaga. All of those come from the word manhig. Okay? In English, you can look up the word drive, you can look up the word governor, you can look up the word govern, you can look up the word conduct. All of them are synonyms, okay? And so it's important for you to seek for the men of old. And if you don't have a copy of the men of old, get in touch with me. The Ministry of Prophetic Revival Wisdom will extend one to you, okay? And you can reciprocate me according to your integrity. I appreciate you all with a humble heart, with a sincere heart. And my name is Nadav, meaning kind and gracious. I am Ben Yisrael, meaning the son of Israel, the name which has been given to Yaakov Avinu. All right? Yaakov Yisrael simply means Yashar El, narrow in the attribute of Yahweh. All right? So I will leave this class in all humility. All right? Before then, let me just complete these last 2 verses. All right? 22. The keeping of vows. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee. 23. That which is gone out of thy lips, thou shalt keep and perform. even a free will offering, according as thou hast vowed unto Yahweh, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. Selah. Shuvah Yahweh Rivavot Alfei Israel.